Welcome, welcome. I'm Annie Moyer. This is Simon Yoga, and this is our weekly meditation and Dharma talk. I'm coming to you on a beautiful Wednesday evening where the day was just gloriously shining and slightly warmer than we've been used to here in the DC area. So lovely way to round out a beautiful day. Let's come to a comfortable seat and have some time just sitting quietly, observing the breath and observing the space inside that opens up when we draw attention to each moment. So watching the posture initially to see how we've landed for this practice, to recognize the part of the body that feels most rooted to the ground. Inhale into that space. And on an exhale, allow some space to widen and to rise. Notice the breath arriving and allow it to depart without incident, without commentary, without any sort of desire, just simple awareness, just simple presence. Breathe in and recognize that you're breathing in. Breathe out. Recognize that you're breathing out. So you notice sensations that respond to the breath. You can acknowledge their presence and weave them into the fabric of the moment with just simple awareness. Yes, that's there. That's there too. And I'm breathing in again, and I'm breathing out again. So we're weaving together this experience that's holding us like a gentle welcome garment. And this gentle welcome garment that we've woven with our recognition of breath coming in, breath going out, and sensation that exists among those experiences is perhaps a felt sensation of safety and comfort. Perhaps this garment of attention is holding us in a way that provides support, a way that shelters us from the storms of life. And maybe sometimes we need to pull it a little more snug, hold it a little closer, breathe into it with a little more gusto. And just a few more rounds of easy inhale and corresponding exhale. And as if you have been warmed sufficiently by this garment, gently let it fall away and bring your awareness back to this moment, to your immediate surroundings. When I was little, back in the 70s, and we would take family car trips, my father had a game that he would play with us, and it was the license plate game. So you had to, Dana's nodding, this wasn't just us. Yes, so you have to spot as many license plates as you can from all the different states out on the road, and you see how many you can get on one trip. So you had to have your eyes peeled on the road, and if a car is whizzing by, you gotta catch it in time and see where they were from. So my dad took it a step further, and he would play on his own on an ongoing basis, just driving around town. So he kept a list, and this was a mental list. He could remember that clearly. So he would keep the list until he hit all 50, which inevitably he would, and then start over. And at number one, and Maryland, DC, and Virginia were always like, in one trip, you would get 3 guaranteed, and on from there. So recently, I decided that I was going to play on my own, and this was, I think I started this about 10 days ago. I've got 40. I'm not holding my breath for Hawaii and Alaska. But yeah, just on the way over here to this evening, I saw South Dakota. So what I've been thinking about lately and remembering this game is how much has changed since we played this in the 70s when I was a child. How much change that's gone on has affected this simple little game of just choosing one thing to pay attention to when you're out driving around. Back then, each state had one design for their license plate. So you got to know them pretty easily. You could just get the visual and like, oh yeah, that's Pennsylvania. And but now, all these states have all these different designer plates to choose from that, promote your cause or display your affinity or strike your fancy. I looked it up. Virginia alone has 200 different designs that you can choose from. So what I've noticed is, like, driving around this week as I'm looking and getting excited, oh, there's a new state. What is it? I get closer and closer. Virginia. It's just one of those 200 that I haven't seen. So that's just one big thing that's changed. Another big thing is the way we now entertain young kids in the car on long trips. And now we've got so many more and easier ways to distract the kids. I mean, I don't know, but it's been a while since I bought a minivan, but I think they come standard now with the video screen. Maybe not, but you don't have to work so hard anymore to entertain your kids on a long car trip. Back then, our listening choices were limited to just what was on the dial, terrestrial radio. How many stations at most were there? 15, depending on the city you were in. And then if you were in some remote place, it was like 3 or 4. And you needed to keep adjusting the dial, and it was an actual dial to turn. And so it was a little bit of an effort to find something to listen to. And, of course, now we have satellite radio, 100 different stations, and music all loaded up on our smartphones and our Spotify or Apple Music playlists ready to go, plus a whole cache of podcasts and audiobooks. And not only that, but we've got the Bluetooth devices hooked up to the car stereo. So listening is a snap. Multiple other ways to entertain / distract ourselves while we're driving. You can talk hands-free on the phone for as long as you want, to as many people as you want, and you don't have to memorize their phone number anymore to call them. And if they call you and you hooked up to your Bluetooth, you just hit the button and answer it. Hello. as the ways to entertain ourselves have increased, so has room for distraction increased because our cars have gotten smarter. They'll navigate your route for you, or your smartphone will navigate your route. It will calculate your gas tank to see how many miles left you have to go before you fill up or recharge if it's an electric vehicle. You don't have to turn around and look behind you to back the car up anymore. So many cars have the rear view cameras. I mean, you barely have to steer the wheel anymore. These newer cars with the alerts that you're about to change a lane or crash into somebody. Um, and you can fiddle with your navigation and change your route if you want to. Something will tell you that there's traffic ahead when it's out of your vision. So, and I am not lamenting any of these modern conveniences. I'm grateful for them. You know, I really enjoy having all my podcasts at my fingertips for a long drive, and it helps pass the time. I'll be the first to admit. No more stress of getting lost or running out of gas. But what I do really long for is the simplicity of one license plate per state, of a non-digital game that involves a little element of excitement and that's, you know, potentially educational if you've got young kids, and also all of that room for a game of spotting a license plate or I Spy that can be provocative in terms of creative storytelling or imagination. It's like if you see a license plate from Wyoming right here in DC, and you get to play a little game about, like, what are they doing here? How long did it take to drive? And how was that trip for them? And are they moving here, or are they here for a vacation, or to help out a friend? There's so little left to the imagination because everything is too easy to know. You know what your friends ordered in a restaurant because they posted it on social media. And so I think that that's the part that's worth paying attention to, is to consider how profoundly our brains have changed as a result of all of these modern conveniences, and asking the question of, have those changes dimmed any bit of that spark of surprise that so often creates the makings for creative potential. And so I'd like to offer a little contemplative experience to tap into our brains, looking for that capacity for space and focus and simplicity. So a little bit of clearing space with a simple intention of presence. So let's take a few breaths. And once again, come into a comfortable posture that feels like it's got the right blend of alert state and supported ease in the body. And then we can choose a keyword to return to every time we notice a distraction spinning out, because we're so programmed now to spin out. So the keyword can maybe be a reminder of what it is you are intending to do right now. Or imagine if you're riding in a car or playing a game, or, you know, the word could be plates, or any innocuous thing. It could be shirt, to tune into what you're wearing. Something simple and easy and neutral in affect, so that it doesn't have any emotional layering on top of it, like love, Or even if we use the word relaxation, that can trigger some sense of ineptitude if that's a state that we're struggling to achieve. So a really neutral word, it could be socks, it could be flower or bird. We're looking to create the mental environment that you might experience if you were in this moment being purposeful about one singular activity. And then everything that wasn't that was just gently perceived as a simple reminder to come back to the thing that is that. So choose your word and don't belabor the choice. The first innocuous one that comes to mind is the one. And repeat it as many times as you need in order to program the return to the state of spacious presence, of easy being, of just doing one thing. Breathe in and know that you are breathing in. Breathe out and know that you are breathing out. And come back to your word as many times as your mind drifts away. Lodge it back in your intention. If you notice at a certain point the word you chose is provoking other distractions, change the word. My word is jeans. My hands are on my favorite well-worn pair right at this moment. It is a source of comfort, and it is emblematic of pure presence because I'm right here in them, in this space, in this time. Have no concern for the length of the distraction or the trajectory of the outspin of thoughts. Celebrate the return. Know that that is the work. As you breathe in, know that you're breathing in. As you breathe out, know that you are breathing out. Come back to your word as many times as you need. Each time you come back to it, it's like finding a new license plate. And then take a breath and let it go. Come back to your immediate surroundings. Focus on what's around you right in this moment. So there's a lot of attention given to what's come to be known as the flow state, which is that full focus of mind that is achieved by elite athletes and elite musicians when they're in their art form or in their skill so deeply that nothing can disturb them. And there's been a lot of research done on how that presence of mind is correlated with high achievement in a particular realm. A lot of great clinical research being done on mindfulness and meditation. And this is what we're learning, is that a flow state is a real ideal place to be in terms of benefit to an activity. I'm not aware of any research that's been done around a mind state that's focused on finding license plates. However, I do believe that this sort of activity, this sort of intentional presence, focused on your immediate world around you, is an avenue toward that same undistracted consciousness associated with human flourishing. And you don't have to be famous at something in order to get the benefits of this immersive state of mind. We can enjoy these benefits right now, by taking one big breath in and scooping in the immediacy of what you notice in this moment. And the nervous system is primed biologically, without us having to do anything at all, to say, this is good. Let's do some good things for this body that's in this state of flowing, immersed presence of mind. This body is not in danger right now. This body can do all the things it was meant to do. It can well digest its food. It can send that blood flowing nicely to all of the vessels, through all the vessels, to all the tissue and skin and bones. This body is in good shape right now. It can do the work of its reproductive system. This body is safe and well adjusted in this particular moment. So it can skillfully recognize intrusions and produce an immune response to fight off those intrusions and keep this organism healthy. This body feels safe, so it can welcome in the presence of another being and meet that other being with compassion and kindness, love, and care. We can do these things for ourselves right now. So for a final practice, we'll do a little bit of a body scan that invites a recognition of as many pieces of our physical form as we can find, as many license plates as we can find, naming the parts of us. So we'll begin at the top, the crown of the head. Take a breath and just feed your energy and awareness there, the very top of the head. And if there is hair growing there, feed your awareness into the hair at the top of your head, coming away from it. Notice your forehead, the brow, Name it. The eyes. Recognize them. The ears. The back of the skull. The back of your neck. The line that runs from your ears to your chin, the jaw, the cheeks, the nose, the lips, the tongue, the teeth, the throat. The line from each side of your neck across the tops of your shoulders to the tops of your arms. Across the chest. Down the arms. Through the wrists to the hands and fingers. Not everybody has all of these parts in their body in this moment. And so if that's the case, just recognizing the space, the energetics of those body parts. Down the back, the shoulder blades, and the full spine. Down the front, the belly, the navel, all the way down through the lower belly into the groins. And across the two halves of the pelvis around to the sacrum and the base of the spine, down the hips. And then either the energetic space of the legs or the limbs themselves from the base of the torso down through the knees, calves and shins to ankles, heels, feet, and toes. Continue to breathe and know that you're breathing. And if the experience welcomes it, you can start again. If you found all 50 states, do another round. Take a few more breaths. This is Mary Oliver. It doesn't have to be the blue iris. It could be weeds in a vacant lot or a few small stones. Just pay attention. Then patch a few words together and don't try to make them elaborate. This isn't a contest, but the doorway into thanks and a silence in which another voice may speak. Let's gather up your palms, and if you'd like to bring them together to gesture the end of your session, give thanks for this moment and the ability to recognize it as a great gift. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon.